Time Warner Cable and Metro Sports presents RacinBoys TV with Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott. A look at racing in the Midwest and around the country. Brought to you in part by McCarthy Chevrolet and RacinBoys.com.
Welcome to another edition of RacinBoys TV on Time Warner Cable's Metro Sports. RacinBoys TV is brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet and Kansas Speedway. I'm Scott Traylor along with Kirk Elliott. We are the RacinBoys from Sports Radio 810 WHB and RacinBoys.com. We are at Kansas Speedway again this week. Kirk, road course testing underway.
Yeah, and we're up here just by the Hollywood Casino, and the first thing I'm thinking about as we're watching cars run around here for the first time is how spectacular is that going to be when they have the lights on here, have a big major road racing event. That just doesn't happen everywhere.
No, it's going to be exciting racing under the lights. The spectacle of speed is much higher when they race under the lights, and I'm looking forward to that. We talked to a lot of the drivers here today, Kirk, and we're going to visit with some of them here today on RacinBoys TV, but many of them said this track is really not as technical as some, but the speeds are very high.
But you know, all of them are talking about the atmosphere around the racetrack that you just don't get everywhere, more so than the track itself, just the whole setting here at Kansas Speedway that has impressed a lot of these road race veterans.
Well, let's jump into some of the NASCAR notes for this weekend's race at Richmond, the final race before the 2012 Chase for the Championship. Clint Bowyer picks up his second win of 2012, Kirk. Juan Pablo Montoya gets a little credit for that win, though.
Yeah, he does. Clint Bowyer talked about that in Victory Circle, and you know, the pit strategy was a big factor in that race at Richmond, and Bowyer was able to get back in, get that tire replaced, back out on the racetrack. But the key is staying on the lead lap when he had to, when everybody else was in the process of pitting as well. So very interesting the way that turned out. But I think it just points out how fast a car Clint Bowyer had on Saturday night.
Well, he was running up towards the front all night long. Unfortunately, though, he spun out. And I will tell you, folks, this is just my opinion, but I think Clint Bowyer might have spun himself out coming off of turn 4. Remember when Dale Earnhardt Jr. did that at Bristol? And he spoke out publicly that he did it, and the backlash that he got from NASCAR for doing so. Clint Bowyer's smart enough to know that he couldn't do that. He couldn't talk about spinning himself out, but if you look at it, he comes off of turn 4, his left rear tire's flat, his car's sliding all around, he passes pit road. As he exits turn 4, he gasses it up, the car spins out, goes down into the grass, brings out the caution, it keeps him on the lead lap. I think Clint Bowyer, the wise veteran that he is now after being down there in that part of the world for the last 6 or 7 years, understood that if he went a lap down, that was going to be too hard to bounce back from.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that's just too hard to pull that off. You know, Montoya was right there. It looked legitimate to me, but I haven't looked at it as many times as you have, Scott. So, what do I know? You're the race car driver.
All I can do is tell you, take a look when after he took the checkered flag, when he comes around for the front straightaway victory celebration where all the drivers do the burnouts. He comes off of turn 4, he stabs the gas, he spins it off down into the grass. I'm just saying, nothing wrong with what Clint did. If that kept him on the lead lap and give him the opportunity to win, it was a good move by him. I just think that that's what he did.
But even if he did do it, he was smart not to admit that he did it.
He is a veteran when it comes to Sprint Cup racing. I think two of the big stories that come out of that race, Jeff Gordon makes it in. This could be the biggest comeback to this point of the 2012 season. At one point, I think he was 22nd in the points. He's worked his way back up and made his way into the chase for the championship by 3 points, knocking Kyle Busch out.
Just remarkable. I mean, that car was junk at the beginning of that race, and how much they had to change on that car to get it to where it even run right, and for them to be in a position to even win the race, and let alone finish in second place, and to expect Kyle Busch to have a bad night. He never has a bad night at Richmond. It's just a remarkable and a miracle finish for Jeff Gordon.
Casey King, Jeff Gordon, they take the final 2 wild card spots. Now, they don't get the bonus points for their wins in 2012 because they are chase, they make it in through the wild card and not actually through the top 10 in points for the chase for the championship. So that's why they're going to start back there. Even though Casey Kane has a win, he's going to start back there in that 11th spot. I got to believe that those two guys, even though they've made it into the chase for the championship, I'm not counting on them to make a run for the championship overall.
Never know. You remember Tony Stewart last year?
Yeah, I remember that story.
It can be done. And Jeff Gordon is a driver plenty capable of doing it.
Kirk, they're going to Chicagoland this weekend, a track that a lot of people say is very similar to Kansas Speedway, but anybody that knows anything knows that they're really quite a bit different. A little flatter now that Kansas Speedway has the new banking out here. Chicagoland has more of a D shape down the back straightaway. It's not an actual straightaway. What do you expect this weekend at Chicago?
Well, I think this will tell the tale of who's going to be really tough to beat for this championship, because 5 of the 10 races are mile-and-a-half racetracks, and Chicagoland can be a good gauge on who's going to be able to run well from here to November 19th when the last race is held.
Yep, it's the fun time of the season when it comes to Sprint Cup racing. Can't wait to see how it all shakes out. Let's see if there's some surprises this year. You know, we had a chance to talk to Martin Truex Jr. yesterday. He's going to be coming up on the show here in just a few minutes. Martin does not have a win in 2012, but nearly came close to winning at Atlanta a couple weeks ago. Could he be a championship contender?
Oh, absolutely. Remember how well he ran here at Kansas Speedway back in April. He had a car that was plenty capable of winning, and Denny Hamlin just beat him for the win here at Kansas. So he is very good on these kinds of racetracks, and he showed how strong he can be in Atlanta. So, yeah, don't count Martin Truex Jr. out. He's running very strong. Those Michael Waltrip cars, very impressive so far.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, as we do each and every week in segment number 1 of Racing Boys TV, it is time for the Racing Boys TV highlights.
Friday night at Lakeside Speedway, after Jay Barnes and Factory Stock and Jake Richards and B-Mods triumphed, Tim Shields dominated Grand Nationals.
Yeah, the track was pretty heavy, a little rough, but the car actually liked it. It reminded me of the old Lakeside back, 4-6 years ago or something like that.
Tom Carrick Memorial for the Modifieds. Johnny Allen in the 98 battles Aaron Morant after starting all the way back in 24th. 87 Darren Fuqua dies low on race-long leader Bubba Harvey at the halfway mark and takes command. Despite a late yellow, Fuqua holds back Allen for the $1,600 top prize.
Yeah, well, the yellow came out and he showed me his nose on the bottom, trying to get me to move down, I figure. So I imagine he was fast on the top. So I knew he was there, and I just hit my marks and ran as hard as I could and pulled out the win. Yeah, this is up there with one of our biggest wins. Definitely the win for the season and maybe for my career.
When we come back here on Racing Boys TV, we're going to talk to the guy that made it into the chase for the championship. Martin Truex Jr. joins the Racing Boys here on Racing Boys TV.
Okay, let's choose up. I'll take Jamal and Tutall. You can have Chubbs and Skippy. Let's go. My ball.
Okay, but you got skins.
Not a good negotiator? You don't have to be a good negotiator at McCarthy Chevrolet. McCarthy guarantees the lowest prices on a new Chevy or we'll pay you $10,000. We guarantee there's no need to shop anyplace else. McCarthy Chevrolet, I-35 and Santa Fe, Olathe.
In ancient times, hordes of people gathered to watch gladiators battle to achieve victory and honor. Some things never change. See the toughest competitors of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series do battle at Kansas Speedway. Tickets for the Hollywood Casino 400 on October 21st start at $64, and we have more pricing options than ever before. Bring your own cooler, and parking is free. For tickets, call 866-460-RACE or visit kansasspeedway.com.
Welcome back to Racing Boys TV here on Time Warner Cable's Metro Sports. Remember, Racing Boys TV is brought to you each and every week by McCarthy Chevrolet and Kansas Speedway. Kirk, this week, Martin Truex Jr., who just made it into the chase for the championship, did a little media blitz here in Kansas City.
Yeah, what a great season Martin Truex has had. He's yet to win a race this year, but he's come close a couple of times, including in April here at Kansas Speedway. So needless to say, he's going to be one of the favorites when they come here for the Hollywood Casino 400 in October. But he met with the members of the Kansas National Guard at Sprint headquarters here in Kansas City, and later with fans at the 8-10 zone. And here is some of what Martin Truex had to say during his media appearance at the Sprint headquarters.
Well, excitement is definitely high. It's been a great season for our team at Michael Waltrip Racing, and just so proud of the men and women there that put in the hard work. Our owners, Robin, Michael, and all our sponsors, Napa Auto Parts, obviously. So it's been a great season. You know, I felt good back in the wintertime. I really felt like this was our year to make a statement, to go out and do something great, and we've done that so far, and we've got a chance to do something really special in the next 10 weeks, and hopefully we can go out there and take advantage of having a shot at the championship. Well, it's great. You know, we have such a good team chemistry. We have, you know, so much respect for each other's drivers. You know, we raced against each other for a championship and nationwide back in 2005, I guess it was. So, you know, Clint and I go back a long way. I have a lot of respect for him as a driver, and to see that I get that back from him is just awesome. And, you know, that's part of the reason we get along so well. We have that respect for each other. We both want the same goal, want the same things out of our race teams. We're both looking to do the same thing, and that's win championships. So he's been a great addition to our team. He's been a great teammate for me, you know, helping push me along as I feel like we've kind of stepped up the bar for each other this year. So it's been a good addition to our team. It's such a big deal. I'm so proud to have Napa back on a race car and to represent them and what they do. And, you know, it says a lot about the sport of NASCAR and where it's headed, where it's going, and it's, you know, we were excited that Napa's seen the resources, you know, to put into our team. You know, they seen the benefit in NASCAR and in our race team to stay forward, doing 36 races, and couldn't be more proud to have them on board. Well, it's a huge challenge. I mean, it's 12 drivers that are absolutely wonderful, and, you know, any of the 12 could get hot at any time and win this thing. You know, we've seen what Tony did last year. He went into the chase. He didn't have a lot of momentum. People really didn't expect much of him. Bam, he wins 5 races and wins the championship. I feel our team is right there. You know, we've had great momentum. We've had great runs lately. I think in the last 5 races, we've led laps in all of them, been fast enough to win. We haven't won yet, obviously, but sooner or later, that little bit of luck we're missing is going to turn around. And, you know, I feel like it could start this weekend at Chicago, which is a good track for us and a place that I really enjoy. So 12 great drivers that could definitely get on a streak and win this thing. I don't really think it concerns me. Our cars have been so good this year, and we've been so good on all different types of tracks. Repaves like Michigan and Pocono, you know, old tracks like the Kansas before they repaved it, Atlanta a few weeks ago, you know, short tracks, Richmond, Martinsville. We've been good everywhere. So really, no, it doesn't bother me at all. I have so much confidence in my team right now and what we're doing, what the group of everyone as a group at Michael Waltrip Racing is doing. I feel like we can go anywhere and run good, whether it's a new track, old track, or anything. So we're excited to go back to Kansas, see the difference. I know they added some banking, the outside groove, maybe make that high side a little bit better than it was before. Should be a lot of fun. You know, I think a big deal for us this year is being, you know, in the Toyota camp, obviously. It's Joe Gibbs Racing, it's Michael Waltrip Racing. We have 2 cars in the chase, they only have 1. So that's a big deal for us as a race team, you know, to kind of be leading the way for Toyota. So we're excited about that. And, you know, Michael's done a great job as being an owner, obviously. I feel like he's going to be around a long, long time. And, you know, his passion for the sport, his love for the sport is what makes him a great owner. You know, when he had to step aside from racing full time, you know, he loved the sport so much, it killed him. But he said, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here for a long time. And I can see Michael doing this for the rest of his life. As long as people let him keep doing it, he's going to be an owner in the sport.
Well, Kirk, I don't know about you, but I was sure impressed with the way that Martin Truex Jr. handled the crowd over at the Sprint campus. Really nice to all the employees, the soldiers, the media. Didn't seem put out at all. And I've got to feel that, you know, the chemistry that we see right now over at Michael Waltrip Racing between Mark Martin, Clint Boyer, Martin Truex Jr. is probably better than it's ever been for Michael Waltrip Racing, especially getting 2 cars into the chase for the championship.
Yeah, it's so gut-wrenching to lose a race the way he did at Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. You know, Scott, it's easy to be happy when everything's going right, but show me the guy that is a stand-up guy like Martin Truex Jr. when he's faced with adversity. As far as I'm concerned, he's one of the stand-up guys. Frankly, I've never heard a bad word about the guy out there. Have you?
Nope, I haven't. And, you know, I will tell you this, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a win or 2 when it comes to the chase for the championship. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to speak with some of the participants out here at Kansas Speedway's road course test.
Okay, let's choose up. I'll take Jamal and Tutal. You can have Chubbs and Skippy. Let's go. My ball.
Okay. But you got skins.
Not a good negotiator? You don't have to be a good negotiator at McCarthy Chevrolet. McCarthy guarantees the lowest prices on a new Chevy or we'll pay you $10,000. We guarantee there's no need to shop anyplace else. McCarthy Chevrolet, I-35 and Santa Fe, Olathe.
I've got this friend, big NASCAR fan.
Yeah!
Totally into it. I say, man, I don't get it. What am I missing here? My buddy says, dude, you have no idea.
Come on out to Kansas Speedway and see what you've been missing. Tickets for the Hollywood Casino 400 on October 21st start at $64, and we have more pricing options than ever before. Call 866-460-RACE or visit kansasspeedway.com.
Welcome back to RacinBoys TV. We're at Kansas Speedway, where the grand opening of the road course was held this week with an early morning ribbon cutting ceremony with dignitaries from International Speedway Corporation and Penn Gaming on hand. Penn Gaming CEO Peter Carlino made the first trips out onto the new road course, and professionals from the Grand Am Series were here testing out this new racetrack, and we're going to hear from a lot of the participants that made the first test here on this new road course.
Well, this is terrific, of course, and it was part of the plan at the time we got involved in building the casino. The fun thing about today is, for fun, when all this began, I made one deal with the folks at ISC, and that was we build the course, I get the first laps. And I got to do that today. I'm a lucky guy. Well, it's not a highly technical track, but it is a very fast track. It's built for racing. It's wide, the turns are quick. It's going to be a lot of exciting stuff. It'll be a very fan-friendly racetrack. Also fun for drivers if you like speed, and this is a track for that. Well, truly, my input's going to be very limited. Remember, I'm Chairman and Chief Executive Officer at Penn National. Racing is not my full-time business. They have professionals here today who will make a meaningful commentary about all aspects of the track, and they'll take that much into account so that by the time this really opens on a full-time basis for business, this is going to be just a terrific place. Well, we had a ribbon cutting today, and of course it was fun to get out here and take the first laps. It's just a kick, as you might guess. Well, I've been with Penn from the very, very beginning, and we are now the largest regional operator of gaming properties in the United States. It's been a great story for us. This casino is, of course, a joint venture with ISC and the folks at NASCAR. They've been terrific partners. They're visionary people, as you can imagine and have seen here. This is part of an ongoing process of making it bigger, making it better, more fan-friendly, and building the franchise here. Obviously, sports car racing is different than the NASCAR experience. An entirely different crowd, in fact. Some overlap, of course, but different kind of drivers, different kind of fans. So this just takes the whole thing and expands it in a very exciting way. And said, what's the magic here in Wyandotte County? You know, what are those elements that have brought this incredible explosion of development? And it's unique. It really is unique in the United States. So as far as their part, this is just another step along the way. That'll be the next phase here. A hotel and some convention and meeting space and so forth. So we intend to carry on with this. We couldn't be more thrilled to be here. Well, the terrific thing about Lisa, beyond just her personal strengths, is just an immensely talented team that she's assembled. From Jeff and the whole crew here, the best of the best. So I can't say enough about how terrific Lisa Kennedy and her team and the NASCAR folks have been.
It's our first couple laps here at Kansas Speedway, and it's been a blast. The track's real fast, and it's only going to get faster from here. They just paved it, so we're waiting for the track to get rubbered up a little bit, and then we'll be running some real fast times. What makes Kansas so different is it's actually a really flowing track. Everything happens somewhat rhythmically, and you can actually get a lot of passing done, and it's not many second-gear corners for us, which is really good. So it should mean the average mile an hour at this track is a lot faster than it is at any other tracks.
I think one of the most challenging parts here is going to be the transition when you're running in a pack. You know, transition from the banking to the flat part, especially going to turn one. Turn one is going to be a big challenge. But the track is wide enough so it can promote a lot of good close racing, and even if there's some like 3 places where it promotes good overtaking places, which is really good. The speeds are higher, and the opportunities to pass, I think that there's more here than actually in Daytona. So that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very challenging for the drivers because there's always a door open for an opportunity to overtake, and that's going to be the big challenge, is to run as fast as you are and try to protect the line because the track is quite wide. Today is more of like knowing more what the track is able to give to the Rolex series, to the Grand Am, and just fine-tuning a little bit some parts of the track. I mean, there's some curves that probably need to be extended, and what else we can do to improve the track, so when we come back we don't have to worry with these kind of things, and everybody goes and race as hard as they can.
Now that the new road course has been broken in on its first day of testing, now we await to see what kind of a schedule we'll have in 2013 for road racing events, presumably some under the lights. here in 2013 and beyond. When we come back, we're going to hear from one of the top contenders in the Grand National Division at Lakeside Speedway, Darren Kling, when RacinBoys TV continues. Don't go away.
Did you know today's engine technology requires a more consistent oil pressure for maximum performance? Lucas Pure Synthetic Oil Stabilizer is a brand new product designed to stand up to high RPMs and temperatures of today's new car engines. Raise and stabilize oil pressure for smoother idling and improved performance. Reduce engine noise and provide maximum protection. Lucas Pure Synthetic Oil Stabilizer. Light enough for an import, tough enough for a semi.
Welcome back to RacinBoys TV here on Time Warner Cable's Metro Sports. We are at Kansas Speedway. Just down the street, about 5.5 miles from Kansas Speedway, is the legendary Lakeside Speedway, which was opened up in 1989 as a pavement track. They put dirt on it in 2000, and the Grand National Division has been there all these years since it's been dirt. A lot of people thought that the Grand National Division would be hurt by the B-Mod class that they've started at Lakeside Speedway, but the drivers in the Grand National Division have been very loyal to that class, always have near 20 cars. One of the top drivers in the Grand National Division is Darren Kling. He's got 4 wins this year in 2012, but unfortunately after having some bad luck last week at Lakeside Speedway, he is now second in points. And RacinBoys TV caught up with Darren Kling at Lakeside last week.
I had a childhood friend that we grew up, next door to each other pass away, and I come out here and tribute to him, and come out here with a win. And another better way I feel I could pay my respects to the man. Well, this year, I just come back and fix the damage we had from practice in 2011. But I just can't say enough for Nick Newton and his Cheetah chassis. They're a good car, and it's enough of a deal right here to tell you enough that I haven't done much this car all year. The car's been awesome. We race each other hard, a lot of us are good friends, but we just come out here each week and do our own little thing and see where it goes. But the competition's tight, and we just go out and just mind our P's and Q's and try to bring her home one piece. The competition level is so high sometimes people get so worked up that the anxiety is just, I guess, super high, and some people handle it differently than others. Our cars are a 363 cubic inch max, 11-to-1. We got to weigh 2,800 pounds. But the engine set's pretty far forward. Our setback's not very far in these, so these kind of make these a handful to drive. And you can have a 2-link or a 4-link, metric, Chevelle stub. I'm on a Camaro. There's numerous options, but heavy as these cars are, and as far as that engine set's for it, it's a handful. I like this class. I like the rules package. There's a few things I think could be tweaked. Like, I don't like being this heavy, because when you're this heavy, when you hit something, it's twice the heart of impact. But I'm pretty happy with this class. I've been in this class since I started, and I don't see myself going anywhere. Even when it's dry, it's very high speed compared to anywhere else that I've ever been racing. I've raced, Heartland Park and Thunder Hill back in '06 when they had Grand Nationals, I-35. I've raced Bethany State, at the Northwest Missouri State Fair. This is an animal of its own. You can't say there's not pressure, but at the same time, if I let this thing consume me of thinking, oh my gosh, points this, how many points did I lose here, how much did I gain here, it'd consume me and I'd be no good to my racing program. So I kind of, each week, just come in like it's opening night and put together a night and just hope we go out and do well. Oh yeah, it's easier said than done. If I don't tell you I haven't had a few nervous nights of worrying this, that, what, laying in bed at night, did I remember to check this, did I double check that? Points gets to you, but if you let it consume you, you're no good to try to run for a points championship. It'll take it all out of you. Because I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to really run a full season again. I'm trying to get this business off the ground, and I'm working 80 hours a week plus 7 days a week, and it's really kept me to where I'm working with the car, and I'm just worn out. I just don't have the time to keep up with it right now. Adrenaline rush is amazing. Words can't begin to describe to you of how much of an adrenaline rush it is. There's just no words. You'd have to experience it for yourself. But it keeps you on the edge of your seat. You got split-second shot to make a decision. My mom and my 2 sisters that help me here on the pit crew. On a few nights here and there, I might have a guy by the name of Casey Ferrens that comes down and helps. And during the week, I originally got started. When I started racing, I had I used to help Lee Stark when Jenny Stark was running. Well, I bought an engine and transmission from him in my car in '06, and it was still his engine and tranny with my car. Well, I bought it out that winter of '06, but he still comes by and helps during the week, so that's still nice to have around.
Kirk, Darren Kling has to be pretty disappointed after losing that motor last weekend at Lakeside Speedway. That dropped him to second in the points, but you know, after winning 4 races in 2012, he's going to be right in the mix of this championship down to the final week.
And you've been involved in championships, Scott. This is the type of thing that really keeps you up at night, you know, things that happen out of your control. But yep. I'm pretty certain that Kling will be back. He's been pretty stable for the most part all season long, very little parts breakage all year. So he's just got to strap it up and do it again next week.
I'm sure he's going to be just fine. It's going to be exciting to see who wins that Grand National Championship at Lakeside Speedway. For Kirk, Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor. We'll see you next week right here on RacinBoys TV.